This is Gene Watts, and this is Love in 60 Seconds.
We have been married for over 20 years.
And in that time, we have learned a few things that we'd like to share with you.
So if you're single, newlyweds, or seasoned in marriage, we think you will enjoy the upcoming program.
Absolutely. And we want you to like, engage, share, and do all of those wonderful things that we do on Instagram, Facebook, and every other social media outlets. Send us DMs. We want to hear from you.
This is
Love in 60 Seconds.
60 seconds. Love in 60. Love in 60 seconds.
Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Frederick and Gene Watts, and this is Love in 60 Seconds live tonight.
Yeah.
It's so good to see each and every one of you as you guys are logging on. Hope that you've had a wonderful week. We've had a busy day today, but we're so happy to chat and to see you this evening.
Yep. My lips are very chapped. Sorry, guys. My lips hurt so bad. Anyways. Oh, sorry. My bad. Anywho, hey, everybody. Tonight we're gonna talk about. All right. I'm not the only person that's ever happened to. Okay, but anyways, we're going to get into tonight how to love the person that you married. How to love the person that you married. And we're going to complete our series. Yeah. We've been talking about this for the past 2 weeks, but we're going to talk about some of the last final things that we want to discuss as far as how to love the person that we married. And what is that? Well, so before we get right into it, what does that mean? How to love the person that we married?
Right. This is part 3 of the series, and it's talking about, basically how to love your spouse in the way that they want to be loved, and also within life, because things change, people change, and there's different stages of life. There's different stages of marriage. So being able to give the love that your spouse wants and needs at the appropriate time in your relationship.
Not only that, but you marry somebody, you don't know what it's like to be married to that person until you get married to the person. That's you have no idea what it's like to be married. And people say all the time, well, you knew I was this. You knew I, see my mama every weekend. You knew that I like to eat dinner at my mama's house every night. You know that my daddy takes me shopping all the time. You knew that I had 3 kids. You knew, but yeah, I knew that. That's factual information, but that factual information is not based on my experience or my experience with you. So you got to figure out those things and what that dynamic means when a person does you do marry. Because I married, when we got married, you had a child,
Yeah.
and I had no idea what that was, what I was getting myself into.
Yeah.
I just knew he had a kid, and I didn't know anything about baby mama drama. I didn't know anything about anything. I didn't know anything about having a mother-in-law or mother-in-law. Didn't know nothing about it. But it was a part of the relationship, and I had to grow into my knowledge of it. So, learning to love the person that you married is definitely a process. Definitely a process.
Definitely. And so we
Hey,
are so
Kalonji.
happy to see you guys this evening. We are live on Facebook and we are live on YouTube. So please engage with us tonight. We want to hear from you. Come and talk to us, and we won't be long. But we have been hoping that you have been enjoying these little chats and these little vlogs. And this is number 52. So if you have missed any of our teachings or our chats as marriage coaches, we come and join our YouTube page or on WhatsApp Entertainment on Facebook and go back and take a look at some of the other things that we had talked about. And so we want to get into this evening, in 11, 60 seconds about finishing talking about how to love the spouse that you married.
Yep.
And we talked about, actually, we're giving you about 20, or about 15 so far things to help you in the relationship. So we're going to give you our last 5, and hopefully this will help you to be able to love your spouse better and better. So number 1, something that we think that is really important, and that I believe every person needs, especially in marriage and relationship, is to be able to compliment your spouse.
Absolutely.
What does that mean?
Oh, okay. I can respond, and then you can respond.
Yeah.
Complimenting your spouse, you definitely want to make sure that you do stuff like the basics. And men and women alike like to be complimented, like to be appreciated, like to feel a certain way. Women like to feel pretty. The more you tell your wife that she's pretty, that she's sexy, that she's, she does it for you, or she's smart, or she's a great cook, or she's a great mother, that encourages her to be that much more. What you speak into your partner, what you speak into your spouse, is what you want to see, even if you're not seeing it, but also what you need to see.
Right.
So when you're speaking those things, you tell them that person is pretty. You tell them that you're complimenting them, telling them that they're doing a great job. That's a big plus, and it really helps to build up their confidence.
That's right. And even as believers, we believe that there's power in words. And when you are speaking life into your partner, into your spouse, it's something that is needed. If you like we joked last time, it's like, one thing I would never call my wife is my old lady. I don't like that term, because you're not my old lady. You're my wife of my youth. You're the wife of vigor. You're a wife that is just everything that goes and that has life and all that. But if I was to speak that thing, even as a compliment, and being loving, not meaning anything negative by that, but those words could age you before your time, or do so. You have to watch what you speak to your spouse and make sure that you are speaking good things in life over them. And even if they're, even when they're sick, speaking that they're going to be well. Oh, honey, you had the flu. Guess what? But you are still that strong, that wife. You're that great wife that I need. And once you get some rest, you're going to get over that. Just being able to compliment that in that area. My wife, tells me today, she's like, oh, you're this great. We were doing something. She's like, you do that well. And I was like, don't be gassing me up. But she wasn't. Yes, she was giving me a compliment. And it actually gave me some confidence to go into an issue that we had to deal with. So it's very important.
And there's another thing that you can do too, to really make that personal and really make it a good a practice in your relationship, is like, I love you because, one thing I was thinking about this morning when we woke up, we didn't pop right out of bed. You just hugged me and kept kissing me on my forehead. We didn't say anything. We did that probably for about 20 or 30 minutes. Even though we were thinking the same thing, because when I finally said something, you were like, oh my God, I was totally thinking that. That, just that feeling, like, I love you because you do that. I love you because you hug me and you kiss me on my forehead, because when my husband kisses me on my forehead, it feels like he's putting a crown on my head. So, those kinds of things, you want to make sure that you share. If there's things that your spouse does that you like, even if it's only one thing you can think of that they do that you like, if you just think they ratchet all the other time, stick with that one thing.
That one thing.
That one thing that they do that you like, and build on it, and and keep reminding them of it, because the more you tell them of the good things, the more they'll do.
One of our Larice, what's her she was like, yeah, get rid of the old lady saying. Don't say that, you know.
That's a bust.
Yeah.
Bye, old bye. You want to get beat up? Call me the
Yeah,
old lady. There you
yeah,
go. Change this party all over.
don't do that. And it's just ways of that compliment goes a long ways. And you know, like some things that you know they may like not to hear at the beginning of a relationship or marriage, they may want to hear later.
Yeah.
And because people change.
Yeah.
And that brings us to our second part,
Yeah.
which is what?
The second part is
Our second thing.
Stay on the same team. That
Right.
is really, really powerful.
You know, I think one concept that I have tried to incorporate in our marriage and even in our families, that we are team Watts.
Yep.
And that, you know, when you say there's no I in team, that goes in even in a marriage, as far as being a team, is that sometimes if I'll use a baseball analogy, sometimes if you have a goal and you have a runner that's on third base and he needs to get home, you know, to score, to make the winning run. But if I hit a pop up, or if I hit go and I'm a slugger, if I hit into a play where I'm going to ground out that guy and he can't get home,
Yeah.
then no matter what it might do for my stats or whatever, it won't help the team. So I might have to bunt the ball and take a little hit, you know, or do something to sacrifice to get my runner home. And when you have that concept in marriage, and especially in marriage, where you're saying, you know what, I'm going to put my spouse before myself.
Yeah.
That's the team concept.
Absolutely. Remember that you two are not enemies. When you're on a team, you're not enemies. You're even if you're going through a rough time in your relationship, even if you've had an argument, even if you're going through a bad time, you're not enemies. And it's always worth it to stay on your spouse's team. And when you come out of on the other side of hard times, your relationship will be stronger and more resilient than ever. This, I can't stress this enough. Your team, whatever your last name is, if you Brown, Jones, Smith, Joe Bob, whatever your last name is, Watts, if you build your team, you build your team, you build your dynamic, then that makes your team stronger. You become a stronger platform for your children to stand on. You become a stronger we were talking the other day, and some of the couples that started out with us are no longer couples. They're no longer you know, together. And it, you know, it breaks our heart. But also the other part of that is when you break up the team, you break up a lot of things that you could have accomplished. You mess that up. You break that down. You break down that you dismantle what you're building. But when you stay together, what we built, the life that we built right now, we wouldn't have this life if we were not together. You know, we can look at other examples, and I'm sure many of you can look at other ones, other people that you know, I mean, like, man, you know what, they used to have all of this. It's just like, you know, I have a client, you know, that I'm dealing with, and you know, she keeps going back and forth, you know, with, you know, getting a divorce and all of these things, and they're separating all their stuff. They're separating their houses, they're separating their, just separating. So when you break up the team, you break up all the assets of the team. You break up all your funds, you break up, you know, all of that. So, you know, keep the team together.
And I think sometimes when, as you mature, you should learn to be selfless instead of selfish,
right?
Because it's the team playing is a sacrifice. You know, it's not like a boxer. When that boxer goes out there, it's just him and his opponent. But when you're on a football field, when you're on a soccer field, you have to move in a certain way. You have to have a strategy. You have to have a plan. And a lot of times, sometimes marriages will fail because they did not write the vision to make it plain. They didn't have a plan. They didn't have a plan for when things go good. They didn't have a plan when things go bad.
That's
you know,
true.
And then when you start thinking, well, I'm going to do what I want to do, or I'm going to do what works best for me, you have that selfish complex.
Yeah.
And it's really important. It's hard to have a successful marriage without having a team concept.
Absolutely. And a part of that team concept, and this is my last comment on the team dynamic, is you got to have team dreams, team goals. Like a team, when the coach gets them together, hey, you know what, we're going to win the championship this year, or we're going to the Super Bowl this year. We're going to whatever we are. This is our goal. This is what we're doing. So you got to have your own Super Bowl, your own, like, we're going to do this year. This COVID 2020 has been a box of rocks. It's been a box of poop or whatever it is.
Yep.
But you're like, we're going to still finish this year strong. We're going to do this, and this. We're going to accomplish this, and this. This is what we want to buy a house. We want to buy a car. We want to pay off some debt. We want to, lose some weight. We want to do whatever it is that get your team together, because you can do, the Bible says on a number, it says on a number of occasions, but it says specifically that 2 is better than 1. 2 is better than 1. So get your team together, stay and rock with your team. That'll help you love the person that you're with, because you're on the same team.
We're going to get off the team concept, but
Yes.
I like what you said. And like even today, we were discussing, we're having a conversation, and sometimes in a team, like, you have players, but sometimes you have coaches. And I like what you said about giving a pep talk. Sometimes your spouse needs a pep talk.
Yeah.
Because sometimes your star player can be down.
Yeah.
They can be down and out. And sometimes it takes a good coach to be able to encourage that player to perform at their best level. And sometimes in a marriage, you may have to encourage your spouse to encourage them to a point to where they can perform at their best level. Hey, we love to hear what you guys are thinking, and please comment below and comment and let us know what you guys think about some of these things. And what's the best way to love your spouse. Another way to love the spouse that you are with or that you have married, and this is something that you should practice from day one to the last day you take your breath, and that is to fall in love with them every day. And it's you think about that, and a lot of times when you first get into your marriage, you don't have any trouble with that. You know, it's all googly, it's all great and great. But after year 5, after year 10, after 15, after 20, you want to be consistent and make sure that your spouse that they understand how much you love them. And love is an action. It's something that you have to show, something that you have to give. It's not just a word. Is something that you have to do. Yeah,
absolutely. Love is definitely an action word. Love is definitely something that you have to do. You change, and we say this all the time. The person that you were when you first got married, you are not that same person at year 3. You're not that same person at year 5, 15, 20. That's why, it's sad to hear that people will be married for 25 years and then they get a divorce. What are you going to do? Because you can't even, I'm telling you, you're too much absorbed into that other person. That person is going to definitely, be a part of you. They're an intricate part of you if they've been a part of your life for 25 years or more. You know what I'm saying? And, that's just like, you got to really make sure that you're rolling with the changes and that you're committed to doing it together. And it takes, sometimes this one person committed and the other person is not really committed. So you got to really work on, if you're the committed one and the other person is not committed. I like what Kalanji said, pray over your spouse. I didn't see what that, pray over your spouse and for them. Absolutely. You gotta pray. And let's hear, pray over yourself. God, keep my mind and my heart focused on my relationship and my marriage. Keep me with the right attitude towards my husband. Keep me with the right attitude towards my wife. Keep us in love. Help us to keep our love fresh and new. And do the things that help to keep your love fresh and new. Change it up everywhere. Switch it up. And I tell women this all the time. Pray for sure. Absolutely. But faith without works is dead being alone. Work on it. Change your hairstyle. If you've been wearing a mushroom for 20 years, get a different hairstyle. If you've been doing, wearing your part on the right side for, 30 years, put the part on the left side. Put the part down the middle. Do something different. If your routine, even in your bedroom, is the same thing, been the same thing.
Yeah, switch it up.
Switch it up.
Switch it
Do
up.
something different. Google it if you don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? Figure it out. But that's one of the beauties of being married is that you can have exploration. As long as you guys are on the same page, you can explore different things and different fun things in the bedroom.
Yeah.
So fall in love over and over again.
We had watched our bishop talk this morning, and he's been
Yeah.
talking about family.
Yeah.
And, he was speaking about the attack on the family, and especially how the enemy tries to attack the male. And
Yeah.
and he said something that was, I think, that a lot of people go through, is that sometimes the weight of the world will cause the male to fall out of physical attraction to his spouse,
Yeah.
to his wife, and that being a trick of the enemy. And depending on how you respond to that, sometimes it's age,
Mhm.
sometimes you can just be tired, or sometimes lose that drive, or the enemy will plant sometimes to have that drive, to still have the sexual drive, but not want to have it towards your wife. And if you don't have that spirit of prayer and the ability to reinforce, to fall in love with them every day,
Mhm.
especially a man needs to hear that,
Yeah.
and what that does is that combats the enemy when he tries to bring in that deception, or he tries to bring in that trick.
Yeah.
And that's very, very important.
Absolutely.
So falling in love with your spouse every day is not only good, but for you, but it's also a fence,
Yeah.
because it's protection.
Absolutely. I love that what you said about it being a fence. I love that concept. That's one of the first things that God gave us when we started this type of teaching, is having that fence around your relationship, having that fence around your marriage. But definitely being at a place, pray that that you're still into your husband, that you desire your husband, that you desire your wife. And then do those things that to help them, ask them, okay, what does it for you now? What you like?
Yeah.
Do you like my hair lighter?
Yeah,
Or do you
yeah,
like my hair darker? Do you
yeah.
like my hair shorter, or do you like my hair longer? Because ladies, we can do a whole lot of things now. Do you like when I have long eyelashes, or do you like when I have, just au natural?
Right.
What do you like?
Right.
And ask them, what they like, and then give them what they like.
That's
You know what I
very
mean?
important.
And then not only just physically, but because men are very visual, so we want to make sure that we are keeping that concept of physical, but we want to make sure that we're giving them the emotional, the love, the attention, and all of that.
And the way you do that, I like what Colleen said, is that you have to have date nights. So love
Yeah,
is an
come on,
action.
Gino.
Means that you have to put time into this.
Yeah.
It's very easy to have a date night on the honeymoon. It's very easy to have the date night year 1 or 2, but year 5, 7, 8,
When you
have
got
to put
4 kids and
when
all that,
kids,
you better
all
make
the weight
it.
of the world. So you have
Yeah.
to make sure that you're putting the time and the effort in. And one reason why that's so important is because people change. The spouse that you married in 1985 is not the spouse of 2020. They're different. They're different people.
Absolutely.
Because you're a different person.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So we're coming up to one of our 4 out of 5 topics, and please continue to like and share this. Give us those hearts and let us know you're engaging, and definitely put some text up there. We'll engage with you, but learn to speak your spouse's love language. That Gary Chapman book, taking the test, taking the quiz,
Yeah.
knowing each other. And for a while, I didn't know what the love languages were, and I definitely
either.
didn't know what your love languages were.
Mhm.
And when we took the test and found out, I was like, oh, that's why she likes physical touch, or that's why a hug encourages you, or whatever. So it's
Mhm.
really important that in the areas of how to love your spouse, the one who married, is to learn to speak their love languages.
Absolutely. That's super important. We say this all the time, and one of the reasons that I have said this all the time is because it is super important. It's really, really important. I didn't realize how important it was until I found out how important it was. And when I found out how important it was, I made sure that I implied it, implicated it, infiltrated it, whatever the word that is I need to use right now. I made sure I incorporated it. That's the word.
There you go.
into our relationship as much as I possibly could, because that's the thing that helps the person. Because you can serve and you can do things all the time and pour yourself out and say, "Oh my God, I'm loving you. Like I'm loving you my best. I'm loving you my best." And they're like, "I don't feel loved. I don't feel appreciated," because you're not giving them the love in the way that they need it. They need, men need respect. They need honor, and you got to make sure that you're giving them honor and respect. That you're giving them the highest level of honor and respect.
Right.
And as you do that, even if they're not the man that they should be, coming up to be, they're gonna be that much more. They're going to be that much more of that man, and she's going to be that much more of that woman. The more you start speaking that love language, and the more you start making them feel loved, and if you make them feel super loved, you making them feel loved, you don't have to worry about them seeking that love anywhere else, or even not. They may not even, people don't step out because they always just that's what they desire to do. They're seeking it. They step out because there's an emptiness somewhere,
right?
And they allow the enemy to infiltrate that space in that emptiness.
So real quick, somebody said, well, what are the love languages? And you had this one. So real quickly, we'll just go through them. One of the ones is acts of service. And acts of service is, doing things that your spouse likes. Like from, let's say, for example, if your spouse is home a lot and they've been busy, they may want you to wash the dishes or cook a meal. And that's active service, doing something that they like. The second one, or another one, is words of affirmation. And what is words of affirmation? What is that?
Words of affirmation is when you speak well of a person, like what I was just talking about. You encourage them with words. You speak, you remind them of how great they are, and how fantastic they are, and all of the good things that they are doing in the world and in your life, and how they make you feel. Words of affirmation. You're doing a good job. It's okay to tell somebody that they're doing a good job.
Definitely. Yeah. Another example of the love language is physical touch. I'm not a big massage person. Like, that's just not me. As far as receiving a massage, my wife is a physical touch person, and she says I give good massages. So I'm not one that likes to be touched, but she likes to be touched. So being able to give her a massage is something that speaks, that is one of your love languages.
Yeah, you like when I touch you, though.
No, I mean, I like when you touch me. I don't like to be touched by no strangers.
I don't care if I'm getting a massage. I don't care who they are. I like it now, even though it doesn't mean anything to me. But yes, I like when you rubbed my legs yesterday.
Rub your legs, giving a hug, holding hands, kissing on the forehead.
All that physical touch makes me feel loved.
Explainable. What about the next one?
Quality time together. Now that's one of your top love languages. But there's times when I think that if people knew like how much like time we spend together, like we just like together like all the time, and we enjoy it. A lot of times we're not talking. We're not, necessarily having a conversation. We're just in each other's presence. And being in your spouse's presence, if quality time is their love language, just you being around it goes a long way. It goes a long way. Like the other night we watched like 2 movies. I missed 2 of the shows, 2 shows, and then 2 movies. 2 of the shows I fell asleep on, but he just rubbed my feet and let me just put my feet on him while I slept. Got a good nap in, and then we watched 2 movies. And he was like, "This is so great," and I felt like this is so great too. All he did was watch movies. He popped me some popcorn. You were so good.
Thank you.
Probably some popcorn.
Rewarded lady.
Yes, you were.
I like what Kenyatta says. Is that learning your spouse's love language improves communication.
It does. It absolutely does. And you got to make sure that you're having those conversations. And then if your love language changes, because I feel like there's times when my love language kind of toggles to that physical touch as opposed to the acts of service. But that acts of service is always up there for me because I'm always a busy person. I'm always doing something. Yeah. And if somebody helps me, even if it's my kids, if they help me, that makes me feel loved, that they helped me do something,
And finally, the last one is gifts or tokens
of
or
affection.
tokes of affection.
Tokes.
Should be gifts or tokens of affection.
Yeah.
And what that is that it's gifts. I turned 50 the other week, and a few days ago,
A few
and
days ago.
my wife has been doing a 50 for 50, giving me 50 gifts for the next 50 days.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I've never been like a big gift person,
Yeah.
but I'm sort of finding myself like, oh, what's coming
What
on
am I
today?
gonna get
What am I gonna
next?
get today? What is next? And some
Yeah.
people like that. Um, uh, my sister-in-law, her sister is a great gift giver.
She is.
She gives lots of nice gifts. She's very thoughtful.
Yeah.
So her love language is, not when somebody gives something, that's something like they usually like to receive.
Yeah.
So with Twy, we make a effort to make sure we put not just giving a good gift, but putting some thought into it, because she
Sure.
puts such thought into the gifts, and it's
Yeah.
always relevant to something that we like.
Yep.
And so your spouse may be like that, being able to, give a good gift, and sometimes making sure that put some thought into that type of gift.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to definitely think about what you're doing. Think about that gift, and if your spouse is a gift person, gift away. Make sure that you make time and put in your budget to make sure that you get them a gift. If your wife or your husband is a gift person, put that money away to make that gift happen. It's got to happen.
Yeah, Alicia said too much information. No, it's not too much.
It's not. It's just enough. It's just enough.
Don't hate the player at the game. So the last thing that we want to talk about tonight on learning how to love the spouse that you married is to treat them like you want to be treated.
That's the Bible. Do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. Is that the golden rule? I believe it is. Right. It is. I believe it's the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. Treat people like you want to be treated. If you don't want somebody talking to you mean all the time, don't talk mean all the time. Or none of the time. If you don't want somebody to ignore you, don't ignore your spouse. If you want somebody to serve you or to love you, to be kind to you, to be attentive to you, do what you want somebody to do for you. And you can still do that and love them in their love language. So basically find out what that is and be attentive to what that need is. Be attentive to their needs. If you want somebody to be attentive to your needs, be attentive to their needs. Find out what those things mean.
Definitely. And and it's just and that's also builds your love and affection, because if you want something, it's sort of like when you pray for something, patience, or something, God will put you in a situation where you need to have patience. That's the same with your spouse. If you want love or you want attention, sometimes you have to give that to them to trigger them to be like, okay, I'm thinking that's what they want. And it's I love my wife. She Oliver Gina said 50 for 50. Yeah. That's creative.
Yeah.
She is such a creative person, and it's an act of love. It's an act of showing how much you care. Didn't have to do it,
Yeah.
If she didn't, I would love her just as much. But just showing and taking time and appreciating, the fact that she does that is just amazing.
Nobody should beat you making an effort for your spouse.
That's good.
There's no other person in the world that should beat you. His mama can't beat me making an effort. Nobody he knows can beat me making the effort to love him. And you have got to be that way. No other guy can beat my husband's effort in loving me. No other person. So there's no competition there. So if you feel like somebody else can step up their game and they can beat you loving your spouse, then you better get yourself together and get your game face on.
That's good. Hey, we appreciate you guys hitting those heart buttons, those like buttons, those care buttons. We hope that you have enjoyed it tonight. That wraps up our 3-part series on how to love the spouse that you married. That's very important. You want to make sure, because people change, life changes, and sometimes things, and so you always have to be on top of it, because like we said, even at the beginning, what your spouse may have liked in year one or even last week may not be what they like or even need at the moment at this time. And so it's very important that you're communicating and talking.
Absolutely, because you're going to find out new information. Sometimes that information is great. You have great discoveries about your spouse. Sometimes those discoveries are not so great. You find out that your spouse is a low key alcoholic, or you find out just, well, I mean, I'm laughing, but sometimes it happens, or you find out just you didn't know that they even drunk at all. And they, you go and you see them at the bar, you go pick up the food, and they done picked up some mojitos or something, or some rum or some rum chadas or whatever they call those things. But anyways, you're like, wait, now when did you start doing that? Or you find out they have some dark secret, or you find out that they are doing things that are not blessing the relationship. In those particular times, you want to make sure that you are finding out the reason for that behavior, making sure that you're giving your spouse a safe place to talk about that behavior. So don't be like, oh, I can't believe you, this person. Have a conversation. So why, honey, why are we here? Why are you doing this? Why this type of behavior hurts me, it bothers me. So I need to know what's making you or motivating you to have this type of behavior.
And especially, and I like that, being able to communicate that, but also the opposite of that is that you have to be honest. And especially for me, you have to say, well, I'm here, because that's another fence. Because you can't, if I don't like you scratching my left shoulder and I don't tell you about it, how can I hold you accountable and be mad at you when you scratch my left shoulder? You know what I'm saying? So you have to be able to communicate and have the conversation to get through that, because that's how the enemy works. He'll say, well, she's not giving you the thing, or he's not giving you what you want or need. How can they give it to you? You don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't talk.
Absolutely.
So you got to be able to have that communication, open up and talk to them. So, hey, that's it for tonight. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Follow us on Instagram, wherever that is, Facebook and YouTube at What's Up Entertainment. Like I say, you can go back and watch these episodes live or watch any of our final episodes. We appreciate you guys when you tune in and send us DMs on what you like to talk about. We'd love to hear from you next week. We'll be back at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We are getting ready to probably do maybe a giveaway again. So make sure that you guys like and share. Make sure that you guys share this with somebody who maybe can use it.
Because a lot of times people do not invest in their relationships. Alicia's cutting up on this line here.
It's just,
Lorraine,
we just watch the kids.
Oh, Danica?
Danica. I was like, Danica says she just want her reward. No, honey, you can't just get the reward. You can't just get your reward, honey. You got to work, and you got to have commitment with that reward. Don't be going rewarding yourself or looking for no rewards. Like Alicia said, you better wait on that.
wait on the reward.
Follow us on all the social media.
But share, prepare and share. Prepare meaning those that are single. God, like if I had known that something like this, or if something like this had been around when I was single, I would have so been committed to making sure that I was prepared going into a relationship, because a lot of mistakes that I made, a lot of things that I didn't, I had to learn the hard way early on. I would have just been so much better. So help somebody be better, share, repost, whatever it is that you feel led to do that so that somebody can be helped, and encourage people, especially now during this pandemic. People's marriages and relationships are really under stress and strain. So having the tools that you need and the reminders that you need to be committed to your relationship, and to know that you got a team and you got somebody in there fighting with you in that ring, is really helpful. So definitely share.
Good. So we appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys next week, 9 p.m. Tell somebody, and we'll tune in so we can start giving away some money. But we're only going to tune in, give it away unless you watch. So we'll see you guys next week. This has been Frederick and Jean Watts.
This is Love in 60 Seconds.
Well, guys, we have to wrap it up this evening. We really hope that you've enjoyed our conversation.
Yes, this conversation has been amazing, and we want you to tune in again next time so that we can discuss more of these amazing topics and these topics of interest. Then don't forget to DM us, contact us, reach out to us, and we will definitely respond back.
If this has been Love in 60 Seconds, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
All right, good night, everybody.
60